in NFL history. The 35-point loss went down as the worst in Tom Brady's career. It was also the first time in Brady's career that he had been swept in a regular season by a divisional opponent. And Tampa Bay ran the ball just 5 times against the Saints. Now, maybe it's not so surprising given their strong group of receivers they've got, but it's the fewest amount of rushing attempts in a game in NFL history. Here is Bruce Arians on that loss.
The interception to AB, that was just a poor throw. The one to Chris read the right properly. Tom thought he was going deep. He stopped. Those things can happen sometimes when you're doing it on the run. Mike was open a bunch in that ball game. He just didn't get targeted. That's all. He was open. Mike was open. You don't bury your head in the sand. You look at it, you own it, and you go in, you look at the tape, you figure out what went right, what went wrong, and then you move on to the next ball game.
Bruce Arians there talking about Mike Evans being open. So for more on the Bucs getting blown out yesterday, we bring in Marcus Spears. Now, Bruce Arians hasn't been shy in the past about criticizing his quarterback, Tom Brady. What do you make of those comments right there coming from the head coach?
Yeah, they can be justified because you can look at the execution and say it was poor. But I would ask Bruce Arians, when did Brady have time to see if Mike Evans was wide open, number one? And then this coaching staff, it's mirror check time. You didn't make any adjustments. You didn't make this game plan easier offensively. You had Antonio Brown in for a week, and you went to him on a relationship type route, and it ended up being an interception. He stopped. Brady thought he was going deep. And then on the defensive side of the ball, some of the things that have shown up that Daniel Jones wasn't able to take advantage of by guys' eyes being bad. Jamil Dean, it comes to mind first. Like, this is on Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, and Todd Bowles as much as it is on the execution. This is not to absolve Tom Brady for his mistakes and the things he did wrong. But the coaching staff did not help him one bit, Ash. And I'm not going to sit here and listen to Bruce Arians talk about players without talking about the coaches being outcoached against Sean Payton and their sideline.
Okay, defending Tom Brady there. I like it. Now, between this bad loss by the Bucs and the Seahawks falling to the Bills, the NFC appears to be wide open. So who is your team to beat in the NFC now?
It's got to be the New Orleans Saints after what we witnessed last night. And look, we were waiting for this defense to come along. We talked about the offense not being super explosive and things like that. But you had to figure at some point they would get it clicking on that side of the ball. But defensively was what was so impressive last night with the Saints. They applied pressure when they rushed with 4. They applied pressure when they brought more guys. And the back end did not give up the big play like we've been seeing them do week in and week out. They held everything in check. They played smart. Guys were where they were supposed to be, and they were able to force Tom Brady into making bad decisions. If the Saints defense is going to carry that type of performance, and I'm not talking about only giving up 3 points.
In the fall. How about that? It's Masters week. We're going to look back at Tiger's emotional win last year at Augusta.
Yeah, the weather, beautiful, right? A very different Masters this year, though, with no fans. It's a sign of the times with COVID-19 throwing sports for a loop there this week and elsewhere today. So let's get to your top headlines, starting off with this Saturday's Alabama-LSU game in jeopardy due to LSU dealing with a number of players now in quarantine for positive COVID-19 tests and contact tracing. LSU coach Ed Orgeron said multiple starters may not be available. More COVID-19 concerns surrounding the Masters. 2017 champion Sergio Garcia has withdrawn from this week's tournament due to testing positive. Postponed from April, the Masters will tee off Thursday on ESPN. Also, the coronavirus impacting college basketball. Michigan State coach Tom Izzo announced he has tested positive. He said he has been strictly following protocols and was unsure how he was infected. And with the college basketball season set to start November 25th, Gonzaga is #1 in the AP preseason poll out today. It's the first time in school history that the Zags will go into the season as the nation's top-ranked team.
Well, more on that developing story that Saturday's matchup between LSU and Alabama appears to be in jeopardy as the Tigers have multiple players currently in quarantine after COVID testing. Ed Orgeron said multiple players, some of those who are starters, had tested positive. Others are in quarantine due to contact tracing. The next round of testing is tomorrow. Here is Coach O.
Well, you know, it's going to be challenging, obviously, with the guys that are out and the quarterbacks that we have, well, we may have to put someone else at quarterback just in case. So we have a plan in place. I'm not going to say what we're doing because it'll give away our game plan. And we're going to go ahead. Now, when they tell me, you know, we had a certain number or something like that, we can't play, I think that's up to the league and Scott, and I think that by Wednesday, that should be solidified. But for right now, we're playing Alabama, we're ready to go.
Well, college sports reporter Heather Dinich joining us now on SportsCenter. So, Heather, what needs to happen for this game to be played as scheduled on Saturday?
Well, Ed Orgeron hinted at it there when he said a certain number, and it's 53, which is the guidelines from the SEC conference for how many scholarship players you need to play a game. Now, it's a guideline. If that number falls below 53 scholarship athletes, LSU can still play if they want to, but they suggest you have 7 offensive linemen, 1 quarterback, and 4 defensive linemen. And Orgeron also said that starting quarterback Miles Brennan won't be able to play because he has a lower body injury. Now, if they move another player from another position, that could help. But if they have over 53 scholarship players and still don't want to play, they can make a compelling case to the SEC office to have it postponed or canceled, and that would be in the hands of Greg Sankey then.
Okay, and it's not just that game that's in jeopardy. There's more COVID-19 related news affecting the SEC today. Saturday's game between Auburn and Mississippi State has been postponed. The Bulldogs don't have the minimum number of scholarship players available because of COVID issues. Texas A&M has paused football activities after multiple positive tests within the program. And Arkansas coach Sam Pittman says he has tested positive for COVID-19. Heather, what has been the reaction around the conference with all of that going on today?
I have spoken with several athletic directors throughout the SEC, and the general consensus is nobody is hitting the panic button right now. That being said, I talked to Texas A&M athletic director Ross Bjork, who, as you mentioned, they are dealing with their own issues, and he's most concerned about contact tracing. He told me over a dozen players will miss 14 days because of contact tracing there. But here's the thing. He said that the SEC athletic directors at their weekly Tuesday meeting will discuss the possibility of maybe using the December 19th championship weekend to add that as a possible makeup date for any teams that can't play. Obviously, you can't be playing in the SEC championship game to do that. It's a topic of discussion. The athletic directors would have to vote on it at some point. It would have to be approved by presidents and chancellors. But he's saying flexibility remains the key down the stretch.
Got it. All right, hang tight, Heather. Ryan's got more with you.
And who we got? Trevor Lawrence. He's ready for a comeback. The Clemson Tiger star quarterback said he's excited to practice this week after missing 2 straight games due to a positive COVID-19 test. He missed Clemson's double overtime loss to Notre Dame on Saturday. Lawrence explained how he's feeling earlier today.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling, normal, back to my old self. Feel good. No more symptoms, really. I mean, still taste and smell are a little bit weird, but I feel great. Feeling normal. But yeah, it was definitely tough being on the sideline and not being able to play, but I just did what our trainers here told me to do, took some medicine, some vitamins, all that stuff to try to get back to normal as quick as possible, and it worked, and thankfully I'm still healthy and feeling good. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a little bit of concern just because of the nature of the virus, but I'm feeling good, so I'm thankful for that. For me, it's just I'm just happy to be back, really. It's not fun sitting at home for a week or two and just having to watch 2 games. It's definitely not ideal. So I'm glad to be back. I'm going to be excited just to be practicing again this week, and I think we'll have a really good week of prep and get ready for Florida State.
Tiger fans are happy to have him back. Even with their loss to Notre Dame, Clemson still has a good chance to reach the college football playoff. According to our all-state playoff predictor, the Tigers have a 45% chance to reach the playoff. Just 1% behind Notre Dame. Alabama and Ohio State are the only teams with better than a 50% chance at this moment. So let's welcome back in Heather Dinich with us. Heather, you're our college football playoff reporter. You study this stuff. How did this weekend's results complicate things for the CFP selection committee?
Well, when you look at Clemson and Notre Dame and a touchdown in double overtime,